Bryce Underwood pushes Michigan's offense out of its comfort zone, but toward winning. And I'm curious if Sherrone Moore is going to go with what he knows is winning football, or they're going to try to continue to do it the way that, frankly, they've been doing it since 2021, and it's worked. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year-round. If you're into that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and answer the question in the comments below. Do you think that Sherrone Moore should allow Bryce Underwood to use what is his most valuable skill set right now to help Michigan win football games as the season wears on? In the last 2 games, Bryce Underwood has rushed the ball 17 times for 175 yards, if you don't account for sacks, and 2 TDs. He is also proven to be their most explosive back, not named Justice Haynes. You saw that with their 37-yard QB draw for a touchdown against Nebraska. He outran everybody to the corner against Central Michigan. And when he's running the ball well, Michigan's running the ball well. They also don't have the tight end play that they thought they would have when Marlon Klein in them, and they haven't had really a dominant force at wide receiver, though Donovan McCulley looks the closest to doing that. You need more guys. Like, I saw Samaj Morgan drop a ball off his hands, and I'm going, you can only do so much here if you're Bryce Underwood throwing the football. People got to catch the mug, right? I think that dude's been as advertised. He has played outstanding football when given the tools to do it. But in the absence of Sherrone Moore, Biff Poggi was going, hey, look, that's Batman, so we're just going to let him do what he needs to do for us to win football games. And it's been clear that Sherrone Moore is getting on board with that, because ahead of the Central Michigan game, Sherrone Moore had said, look, JJ wanted to run more with the ball, JJ McCarthy. And I would say no, because if you get hurt, we ain't got nobody behind you that's anywhere nearly as good as you. We can't afford it. You can't afford it. And you saw that, against Minnesota Vikings, how that looks. But it's a guy that had the wheels to do it. Frankly, might be just as fast as Bryce Underwood. But because they had that dominant offensive line, and they had dudes at wide receiver you could trust, and they had tailbacks that could go, you didn't need J.J. McCarthy to use his legs except to bail you out of trouble, which is what you want your quarterback to do. Out of structure, pocket breaks down, go get you a free first down that otherwise is a sack, or be able to use the play-action pass in a real way, which I think has been Michigan's strong suit, even with Chip Lindsey as offensive coordinator. When they can play-action pass and quarterback can throw in rhythm, they're deadly. And then you get your Wink Martindale defense to go sit on people, and then you get to run the ball like you want to and eat out the clock. The problem for Michigan now is still the same, though. They can't play from behind well. They're not built to do that, even with Bryce Underwood running the ball, because it's still running the ball. Running the ball is eating the clock. And eating the clock also means spotting the ball, and then they're not going to rush to the line of scrimmage. They're going to take their time. They want a low-scoring ball game. In the past, that's the game they win, but only because they're up ahead. They don't play from behind very well, especially deep in the third quarter and the fourth quarter, because then we know that you have to stretch the field, and Michigan has shown they can't really do that with any kind of regularity. So you're going to risk one-on-one on the outside. You might even send, the safety. You might not even have a safety over the top, because that might be how good you feel about your matchups with cornerbacks. I don't advise that. I always want to have a center fielder in my defense, but you can understand why some people might gamble just to get home against Bryce Underwood. And the other part about this that I think most Michigan fans will feel, and as a guy that has rooted for Oklahoma and John Mateer quarterback, I understand how this sounds. Gonna get hurt. That's just it. Like, before John Mateer got hurt, I was saying the thing for Oklahoma to do is keep that dude healthy. Failed. They failed to keep that guy healthy. And it wasn't on a run play. It's on a pass play. He broke his hand on a pass play on somebody's helmet, which is, frankly, a quarterback injury. That's one that you could probably have at any level, especially given the kind of arm mechanics that Mateer has, where he's got a low-slinging arm that is not going to go over the top of people's heads, but likely in line with them. Throws the ball like a high school shortstop. Plays quarterback like a high school shortstop with the jump throws deep in the hole and all of that, right? Bryce Underwood is a much more polished passer, right? Much more traditionally polished passer. And that is underscored by him being a number 1 overall recruit in the 2025 class, and also the $12 million he'd get paid to play football at Michigan. However, that's the franchise. That's your investment. I don't think they have anybody behind him that is as good as him. And I also understand the reluctance here. So what you end up doing, I think, is what Brent Venables has had to do with John Mateer. You just have to trust him. You have to say to him, hey, man, we're going to do this, but I need you to be very careful about when you do it and how you do it, because if you get hurt, I'm going to be so pissed. That's just what it's going to be. I mean, they had this conversation with Kyler Murray when he was starting quarterback at Oklahoma in 2018. Lincoln was asked over and over again, so you got the fastest guy in college football and you got the best athlete the Texas high school football has ever produced. You know he's going to want to run with the football. How do you ask him to do it? He says, hey, I just say, hey, learn to slide. We're sliding. We're sliding. That's what we're doing. We're sliding. We're sliding. We're getting out of bounds. That's what we're doing. We work on that. Because after that, you just got to trust him. You got to trust him to make good decisions, and you got to trust him to know when enough is enough. Sometimes it's simply getting out of bounds. And I genuinely think that's a backbreaking play. I like it when a quarterback can do that because he's standing up, you didn't touch him, he gets back to the huddle, and you've demoralized the defense. Because Jalen Hurts is able to do this at Philadelphia. He was able to do this at Oklahoma. He hit rushed for 1,200 yards at Oklahoma. He was really good about getting to the sideline just before anybody put their hands on him. But after running around for, it felt like 15 seconds, watching the defense go crazy trying to put their hands on him, and then you don't get to put your hands on him, and they got to run back to the huddle, and it sucks. Meanwhile, if you get to put hands on the quarterback, like sacking him, that hurts. Ask Fernando Mendoza how that felt playing against Phil Parker's defense that just kept coming after him and kept hitting him and saying, yeah, we're going to give you these free release throws, but you're going to pay for it because we're coming for your head. You don't want that for Bryce Underwood. I get that. I understand. But it might be the thing that you got to do, not necessarily against Wisconsin, because Wisconsin's god-awful. But as you face better competition that might be able to match up with you or even be better than you on the perimeter. Justin Haynes needs to get more run. Jordan Marshall needs to get more run. Bryce Underwood needs to get more run. At this point, it feels to me like if they had it in their bag, run Pat White and Steve Slayton, West Virginia offense, we were just brought back in the day, dog. That feels like the best way for y'all to go about business right now. But it also opens up your quarterback to getting hit, and he's a quarterback. He wants to throw the football. So put him in a position to throw the football. I get it. I understand. But it's a rock and a hard place right now. So what you got to decide, basically against Wisconsin, because you're not going to get that many more layups, is who you're going to be for the rest of the season. Are you going to be a team that is relying on the quarterback to get you some needed yards and maybe some explosive plays? Or are you going to just keep trying to run the offense?